Yeah. We be on them highways. Tell them be cool, we on the byways. Bring out the word, they looking sideways. I don't do it my way. We on them highways. Tell them be cool, we on the byways. Bring out the word, they looking sideways. I don't do this my way. I hold a 6-man. Demons rolling up, I'm about to fix that. Scoffer about to talk, I got the word for him. I ain't even know I even heard from him. Scriptures coming out and ain't no word from him. As soon as I pull out the laws, they run away. You was laughing, he gon' laugh at your calamity.
If you have a job that like you just have to have on, because what I do is do a lot of bending over and things like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you something.
All praises. My name is Elada. Nice to meet you, and I'm glad you have a very humble spirit on you. Now, we have some of our sisters that may be police officers, but what the sisters do in order, let me get Philippians 2:12, okay? What the sisters do, let's say if a woman has the job of a police officer or policewoman. Now, you do have locker rooms where you can change. So, us under this captivity in the society that we live in, we know that we're limited to do certain things in order for us to keep a job and, you know, maintain and feed our children. So what the women do, if they have to go to work in pants, what they'll do, they make sure that they bring a dress. And so that way, as soon as their shift is done as being a policewoman, they could change right into that dress to make haste to keep the commandments. Right. You know what I'm saying? Now, certain women, if they working at McDonald's or fast food restaurants, a lot of times they will not allow you to wear a dress, and you know what I'm saying? But as I'm gonna read this to you real quick, okay? It's Philippians chapter 2 verse 12. Yep.
The book of Philippians chapter 2 and verse 12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only.
So you don't only obey in our presence only, but the main thing to obey is when you're not around other Israelites. When nobody is watching you, that's when God really has his eyes on you, and that's when you really have to obey and keep his commandments. So not in my presence only, go ahead.
But now, much more in my absence. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling.
And by you being a righteous sister, you will work out your own soul salvation by bringing a dress to work, so that way once you finish your work shift, you could change right into that dress and put the pants away. Because we already know, let me get Hebrews 10:26. Because there's a difference between willful sin, sinning purposely, presumptuously, and there's sins that we may not know of, okay? So we understand that we have grace due to the fact that our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, the Black Messiah, came and died for us. So now we have mercy, a time period to get ourselves right. But God is going to have mercy on you if he sees that you're putting the effort at least to put on a dress after you finish your work shift that does not allow you to wear a dress while you're working. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so let me read this for you, okay? There's a difference that sisters that come out here and choose to wear pants just because they want to attract attention from other men. Now you, on the other hand, that's different because you're humbly, sincerely asking questions. Hey, am I going to get judged for this? You know what I'm saying? Is God going to have mercy on me if I make the attempt to wear a dress after I finish my work shift? So that's you receive the knowledge of that truth. But if we sin willfully after we receive that,
there remaineth no more sacrifice for sin.
So it's like you put Christ on the cross all over again. You know what I'm saying? And I know you don't have those intentions. I know you don't have that mentality. I can tell by your spirit. You know what I'm saying? Read on.
But a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation.
So that's what you have to apply in your life if you have an occupation and that doesn't allow you to wear a dress at work. You can bring the dress with you, pack a bag, pack your lunch, you know what I'm saying? And once you finish that, and you could always tell them, because keep in mind, let me get Romans chapter 13 and verse 1. Because we have to obey the laws of the land, right? And guess what? one of the laws of the land is called the Bill of Rights, which the First Amendment, they cannot discriminate you for any religious belief that you have. So one of those religious beliefs, you could tell your employer that, you know what? My religion allows me, says that I am not allowed to wear pants. You know what I'm saying? And you can use that to further, to your advantage, to further your employee granting you the opportunity to wear a dress at work. Let me ask you, because what you have on right now is called leggings. Now, we understand it may be cold outside. So, women are allowed to wear leggings, but they have to have a dress on top of it. A woman is not allowed to walk out in the street with leggings as we see our women doing today. So, now, if it's cold outside, you ain't going to just have on panties and a dress. No, you're gonna put on leggings. We have daughters. My brother has a daughter right here that he puts leggings on his daughter if it gets cold outside, because lately, as you can tell, a couple of days ago it was freezing. It drops down to 40 degrees sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So the leggings is called underwear. Just like you're not gonna see us walking around in our boxers. You're not gonna see women walking around in their panties. They're gonna have leggings on, which is considered underwear, which is not to be seen in public. That is for your husband to see. You know what I'm saying? Now, because, let me get Matthew chapter 5 and 27. Because what a lot of our sisters don't understand is that when they dress in immodest apparel and wearing leggings to be exposed, it causes the men to have a certain spirit on them, which causes them to lust after you, okay? And Christ is going to explain that. Watch this.
The book of Matthew chapter 5 and verse 27. Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not commit adultery.
So it was said in old time in the 10 Commandments, when the laws was given to the Israelites by Moses, thou shalt not commit adultery. Okay, go ahead.
But I say unto you, that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her.
So Christ made it detailed. He said, he magnified the law and said, that man that looks on a woman to lust after her, go ahead,
hath committed adultery with her already in his heart.
So that man is accusable or accountable for committing the act of adultery just by looking at the woman on the way she's dressed. So this is why the women that we teach our women the law, statutes, and commandments for them to dress modestly, so therefore it doesn't put a stumbling block to our men to cause them to sin. Because I'm going to give you an example. If you go to the ATM, you go to Bank of America, and let's say you withdraw $500. After you go out the ATM, are you going to flash your money and let everybody know you withdrew $500? No, because it makes you a target, right? It makes you where somebody can rob you or hurt you. So the same way, when you wear leggings and the clothing that you're wearing right now, it makes you a target for these pedophiles. It makes you a target for these whoremongering men that just want to look at you and lust after you. They have no intentions on making you their wife. You know what I'm saying? But this is what's going on today in the society. This is why we encourage our sisters to dress modestly to avoid provoking those thoughts that these men may have. You know what I'm saying? Is that clear so far? All praises. Very good.
Oh, I get it.
Got you. Excellent.
When you say, just say like, look.
Yes.
I'm kind of confused with adultery. Is it lust?
Right.
Isn't it like, do I gotta have you, or can you be like in your mind, like, dang, that's another good, or that's mine? You know, does that, that offend? I'm like, in my mind, I'm like.
Let me get that in Proverbs. The thought of sin, the thought of foolishness is sin. You know what I said? The thought of foolishness is sin. Because you're absolutely right. Now, if a man, because a man, the only woman, a man that's married, the only woman that should be on his mind is his wife. Now, if a man is constantly thinking about another woman, even though he's not touching her, but he's fantasizing about her, he falls into that category of committing adultery, because that lust is running through his mind.
So if you're married, can you actually lust after your husband?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. No. That's why, drop that. Let me get Hebrews 13 and 4. I'm going to show you something. Because marriage is honorable. So, let's say I have a wife, you know. My wife may want to send me, while I'm at work, she may want to take selfies and send me pretty pictures of herself. That's my wife. I can fantasize over my wife. But now, I fall into the mix of adultery if I fantasize about other women. You know what I'm saying? Because now that lust is coming into my mind. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I fall into the act of adultery if I'm fantasizing over another woman outside of my wife. And I'm going to show you on how it's okay for us to fantasize about your husband or a man to fantasize about his wife. Okay. We're going to get it. I'm going to answer your question. Got you. Hebrews 13 and 4.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 13 and verse 4. Marriage is honorable in all.
So God says marriage is honorable, not boyfriend and girlfriend, not side piece, not baby mama, not baby daddy. God says marriage is honorable because when you read in the book of Genesis, that's the first marriage with Adam and Eve. That's the first marriage in the Bible. So marriage is honorable in the eyesight of God. Go ahead.
And the bed undefiled.
And what?
And the bed undefiled.
The bed is undefiled, meaning that whatever that wife and husband do behind closed doors in the bedroom, that's their business. You know what I'm saying? If they want to do foreplay, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? That is undefiled between a husband and a wife. Not between a boyfriend and a girlfriend, but between a husband and a wife. Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 4. Okay? No, let's see what God says. Let's read it again.
The book of Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 4. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled.
So the bed is undefiled between the married woman and the married husband. Whatever they choose to do in the bedroom behind closed doors, that is their business, as long as they are not breaking any of God's commandments. Now, I'm going to get another law for you on what is also lawful intercourse. So we ran over the bed is undefiled between that husband and that wife because they're married. They belong to each other. You know what I'm saying? They don't got to worry about getting AIDS. They don't got to worry about getting diseases. They don't got to worry about wearing condoms if they don't want to. You know what I'm saying? Because they belong to each other. So now I'm going to get some other laws, answer your question about another example of unlawful intercourse, okay? When a woman has something, a man is not allowed to touch her, okay? Exactly. You familiar with that?
Yeah.
Let's read it anyway. All praises. Leviticus, right there, 15, 19. Turn the next page. Yep, right there.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 15 and verse 19. And if a woman have an issue, and her issue in her flesh be blood.
So the issue in her flesh be blood, that happens once a month with her cycle, exactly.
She shall be put apart 7 days, and whosoever touch her shall be unclean until the even.
So that woman has to be put apart 7 days, however long her cycle lasts. So let's say she only bleeds for 3 days. You still have to keep the duration of those 7 days. Exactly. Once she bleeds, if she bleeds for 1 day, it's still an automatic 7 days that the husband is not allowed to have intercourse with his wife.
Any type of intercourse, like, you know.
Yeah, any type. Okay, he's not allowed. She has to be put apart. You know what I'm saying? So there's no touchy, feely, none of that. She is unclean for those 7 days when she has her monthly cycle. Okay? All right, so once again, we are Israel united in Christ. We come out here to show you, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, that you are the Israelites according to the Bible.
That's right.
All right? God only chose the Israelites, and he gave you laws, statutes, and commandments to follow. All right? So, any other questions you may have? All praises. All praises. What's your name again? Tiana. Okay. So what we want to do, Tiana, after you learn all of this, because let's go back to Titus chapter 2. Go ahead. Yeah. Tithing. Okay, so you confused about tithing?
Well, when I was reading
Let me get Deuteronomy 14. Yep.
then I'm like, I hear opening windows and things. I've been reading the study.
Okay, so let me get Malachi. So this is the scripture that the typical Christian church uses to try to fool and trick our people that we still have to give tithes today. Because the Christian church, they're a bunch of hypocrites, because they'll say that when we bring out the law of Deuteronomy 22 and 5, they'll say that we're under the new covenant, we don't have to keep that no more. But then they'll try to get you to pay tithes when that's also an old covenant law as well. You know what I'm saying? You see the hypocrisy behind that? But I'm going to give you some understanding about that windows of heaven, okay, and what it means. So Malachi 3 verse 8.
The book of Malachi, chapter 3 and verse 8. Will a man rob God?
So that's what they do. I'll say it to you in a Christian pastor voice. Will a man rob God? You know what I'm saying? That's what they say. But let's see how they rob God. Go ahead.
Yet ye have robbed me. But ye say, wherein have we robbed thee? In tithes and offerings.
So they say we rob God in tithes and offerings, right? Read on.
Ye are cursed with a curse. For ye have robbed me, even this whole nation. Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in my house.
So bring he all the tithes to the storehouse. The storehouse is where the oil and the wine was kept. I got a precept right there for storehouse. Let me get a 2 Chronicles 32:28. I'm going to show you what the storehouse is, because the storehouse is not Bank of America. Right. The storehouse is not Wells Fargo. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to show you what the storehouse is and what got put into those storehouses. Okay?
The book of 2 Chronicles chapter 32 and verse 28.
This is what the storehouse is.
Storehouses also for the increase of corn and wine and oil.
The increase of corn, wine, and oil. You don't hear money or cash mentioned there at any moment. You know what I'm saying? So go back to Malachi. So this is what we had to bring to the storehouses, okay? So go back to,
Verse 10, bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse.
So we already got a clue on what the tithes is. The tithes was corn, wine, and oil that we brought to the storehouses, because that's where it had to be kept for the Levitical priesthood, because they were the ones who got contribution from all the other tribes. Okay, read on.
That there may be meat in my house, and prove me now wherewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven.
The windows of heaven. Give me that precept for the windows of heaven. Now we're going to find out what the windows of heaven is. Okay, because this is a big misconception. This is a big confusion that has a lot of our people confused on what the storehouse is, on what the windows of heaven are. But God, the Bible is its own dictionary, and God is going to explain it and clear it up for you. All right. Genesis 7 and 11. Yep.
The book of Genesis chapter 7 and verse 11. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month.
So this is just to bring you up to speed. This is during the time of the flood. All right, go ahead.
In the 2nd month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the foundations of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were open.
And the windows of heaven were open. So when the windows of heaven were open, it just means that rain came down from the sky. That's all that means. When the windows of heaven are open, that's when it starts to rain. Okay? So now, let's go back to Malachi. So now we get a better understanding on what was kept in the storehouse. The tithes were kept in the storehouse, which is oil, corn, and wine. Okay? Now we're going to see what it was for. So the windows of heaven, go ahead.
And pour you out a blessing that there shall not be room enough to receive it.
So the blessing that was poured out from the windows of heaven was water, so that the crops are allowed to grow, so that the corn can grow, so that the plants, the vegetables can grow. That's what the windows of heaven is, to pour out that blessing, so we can have, so that the Levites will be able to receive their portion. Okay, because if the windows of heaven are closed, the Levites will be not able to get their corn, their wine, their oil, so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of
All praises.
I get it.
Okay. Yes.
Are we allowed to drink wine?
Sure we are. Sure we are. Let's get that in the Apocrypha. All right. First, let me
I like Apocrypha.
But first, let me get, yeah, give me that in Apocrypha. Yep. Because Sirach 31. Okay, because one of Christ's first miracles was turning water into wine. Okay, when you look on the image of Christ, his eyes are red due to the fact that he drunk wine in moderation. When you drink wine or any type of alcohol, the whites of your eyes get red. But he was not a drunkard. That is correct. The Apocrypha is what bridges the gap in between the book of Malachi and the book of Matthew. Okay, so the Apocrypha is the books that were taken out in the late 1700s by Protestant Christians. But if you go on Amazon, we have a 1611 Bible. Yeah, 1611 Bible that you can purchase on Amazon, and you're able to get the Old Testament, the Apocrypha, and the New Testament all in one book. But we have this red book, which is a separate copy that we sell on our website to complete the hidden history that has been taken from us. Okay, so now let me ask you a question about us being allowed to drink wine and how we have to drink wine in moderation. Okay, all right, so Sirach 31, let's start, yep, 27.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, Sirach, chapter 31 and verse 27. Wine is as good as life to a man.
So God already says wine is as good as life to a man. Wine is good, okay? Wine is actually good for the heart, all right? Read on.
If it be drunk moderately.
If it be what?
If it be drunk moderately.
See, that's the key point. Wine has to be drunken moderately in order for it to be considered good in the eyesight of God. Okay, if wine is not drinking moderately, now we fall under the category of drunkenness, which is an abomination under the eyesight of God. So wine is good if you drink it in moderation. For example, everybody's bodies are different. You know what I'm saying? So you may have one beer and you're good for the night, versus another person, they could probably go with maybe 2 beers and they're okay. Once you know your limit, once you already get that feeling, you know what? I need to stop. I'm not going to drink no more. That's it. This is my last cup. This is my last beer. Everybody has their own body limitations on what they can intake. Okay? So, read that again.
Wine is as good as life to a man if it be drunk moderately.
So if it be drunk moderately. Go ahead.
What life is then to a man that is without wine?
Go ahead.
For it was made to make men glad.
See, wine was made to make men glad. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with drinking wine. It was made to make men glad if it's drunken moderately. Okay? In season, all right?
Ecclesiastes 10 and 19.
Okay, let's get that. Ecclesiastes. In season, okay, in season means, okay, we have feast days where many of us get together. We have high holy days that we celebrate. That is the time when we can drink wine, have a good time, you know what I'm saying? Versus when somebody wakes up at 8 o'clock in the morning and they want a beer. That's out of season. That's not in season, okay? We're not supposed to be waking up 8, 9 o'clock in the morning drinking alcohol. We have a time when we do it, when we all get together on high holy days, on feast days, you know what I'm saying? That's when we all come together and drink and moderately. Day of Atonement, that's, yeah, the Day of Atonement is a day of fasting. Yeah, it's not a, it's like we don't eat on that day, but it's a high holy day that we celebrate. Yeah. Well, let's read it. Let's get it. Let's get Leviticus. Let's get Leviticus 23. Yeah. Nah, you're good. You're good. We're gonna get you the, because God has He doesn't call it, because you know, January, February, March, April, all those months were named by our oppressors. God calls the months the first month, the second month, the third month. So we're going to find out, and we go base our days on depending on when the new moon is. So when we see a full moon, that starts the first day of a new month. So we count from those days to determine what day that specific feast day will fall under. Okay? So I'm going to show you what day the month and the Day of Atonement falls on, because today in America they call it Yom Kippur. You ever seen Yom Kippur on the calendar? That's Day of Atonement. That's what the so-called Jews, the Jewish people, that's what they honor. It's called Yom Kippur, which is also in our Bible is called the Day of Atonement. Okay?
So that is why.
Right, we celebrate the Day of Atonement, right? But we know it as Yom Kippur, but that's not affiliated with us.
Okay.
All right? Okay. All right, so read that. Day of Atonement, the day it falls on in the month.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 23 and verse 27. Also, on the 10th day of the 7th month.
So on the 10th day of the 7th month. So let's say the new moon, let's say the full moon, let's say, for instance, the full moon falls on the 5th of the month. Let's say it falls on the 5th. So from the 5th, you have to count 10 days from the 5th. So if you count 10 days from the 5th, that day that the Day of Atonement will fall on will be the 15th of that month. Does that make sense? Okay, read it again.
Also, on the 10th day of this 7th month.
So the 7th month, today on the calendar, and this American society, they put the 7th month as what's the 7th month they say today?
July.
Yeah, July. July is the 7th month. But according to the Bible, when you look at the 7th month, it's actually September. Because just think about it. October, you have OCT, that's octagon, which has 8 sides. November, that's nueve in Spanish, which means 9. December, which is DEC, which means decimal, that would be the 10th month. Okay? So the way that America has designed it, America has threw us off pretty much by 2 months. You know what I'm saying? Because today we look at July as the 7th month, but the 7th month, according to God, is September. So in September, whichever day the new moon falls on, from that 10th day is the day, because you know we count the days from evening to evening. Okay, so right now it started a new day. A new day starts right now. Exactly. So today, the Sabbath would be the 7th day. So today is the beginning of the 6th day. Tomorrow, Friday night, will be the beginning of the 7th day. Okay? All right? You good on that?
I am.
Anything else?
Nope, I'm done, y'all.
All right, all praises, all praises.
Now they will see the true men of God. We are not black men, we are the Israelites. That's right. Take care of us. Take care of us. And our children too. And our children too. We have abandoned. We have abandoned. How about you? How about you? People want to know who's the king.
Oh, nation of Israel, it's time to return to the Father. Oh, nation of Israel, it's time to return to the Father.
Now why they trying to make it so hard to serve God? And why when I say that I'm a Jew, it sound odd? For years I've been walking around saying that I'm a black man. I ain't saying that no more, it sounds wrong, man.
This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Stay up to date with our latest events, music, and classroom lessons. IUIC plans to continue visiting different countries where this gospel has not been preached before. IUIC needs your help in pushing this truth. So join us. Subscribe to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and podcast, and stay up to date with us. For more information, please visit www.israelunite.org.